Good morning. My name is Marissa and I am the creator behind Missouri Makes. Before we begin on today's episode, I will go over, you can find me on Ravelry as Missouri Makes, and you can find me on Instagram as Missouri_Makes. Anything that I talk about in this episode and all of my past episodes, if there is a link to be found, I will put it in the show notes, which you can find located in the Ravelry group that I have. If you can't use Ravelry, all you have to do is leave me a comment down in the comment section, and I will be happy to leave the show notes in the description box of this video, and continue to do that later in next episodes, because I want everybody to be able to access everything. So, I will right up front apologize if I smell like wet dog. It is raining here, muggy outside. Today's Wednesday, 6th? Yep, 6th. It is raining outside. My dogs are wet, and I just brought them inside to feed them. And we're trying to train them to not run you over whenever it's time to eat. And in order to do that, you have to kind of pull them back and teach them no. And so I smell like wet dog right now. When I get done with this episode, I'm going to go wash everything because the smell bothers me. But yeah, puppy days are so much fun. They're good dogs for the most part. They're not, whenever you first interact with them for the day, they are hyper. But as the day goes on, they're not as hyper as you would think a puppy would be. I think we're going on, 15 weeks? I can't remember. They're not as hyper as most puppies, or what you would think a puppy would be. They're very calm once they get, once they get their day started, I guess. They're very calm. Now, they require attention just like any other animal. So, yes, they're going to be up in your face some. But for the most part, they're good dogs. I think in the last episode, I took and put a little video of them at the end, if you watched it all the way to the end. But, before I get started, today, excuse me, today is Wednesday. Today a video went out, and it's a new series that I have started on my channel. I have officially started my first knitted sweater. I have started some in the past and never finished them because whatever reason. I talk about it in the video. If you want to watch it, you can find it up. I can link it in the cards section up here somewhere. I don't know which way it would be, but yeah, it's actually a really good design so far. It took me a minute to get used to the pattern, but as of right now, I am almost halfway through the color work section of the yoke, and so once I get done with the color work, it should speed by. It's made with DK weight yarn, so it's not going to take too long. I just have to keep the steam up and keep going, you know. But I'm not going to show that today because I will be keeping up with it in Wednesday's videos until it's finished. And so that is kind of like a journal entry for my firsts or whatever I decide to do. But yeah, I swatched for it and everything and was being very adult about it. But it's going well. And next Wednesday, you can see where I've gotten to. Hopefully by next Wednesday, I'll have the color work and everything done. Because today's video, when you see today's video, Wednesday's video, I had, I think 2 rows done of the color work, and I'm almost halfway through it now. You can tell what it is. And so, yeah. And that was Monday. So, if I can do almost half of the colorwork section in 2 days, I should be able to get the colorwork section done before next week's video. Hopefully, if nothing comes up. I won't be home a whole bunch tonight because Doug is preaching at a friend's house. He started church in his house, and so Doug is going to go over there and preach today. And so we won't be home very much tonight for me to work on it, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So I should still get the color work done before next week's video. Let's see. I have a finished object, but I don't have it with me. I finished the lime green Shrek looking hat. It doesn't look like Shrek with the ears and stuff. It's just green like Shrek, you know. I finished that hat, and Doug took it to work with him. So either I'm going to have him send me a picture, and I'll put it in here, or when he gets home, I'll have him bring it home, and I will insert a picture here somewhere so you can see it. Because, and hopefully maybe next week I can bring it in and show you up close. But it didn't take a whole lot of yarn to do. I thought I had something else in here. Hold on. What's in here? Oh, here's the leftover yarn. So I got quite a bit of yarn left after that one. This is the yarn I used for that hat. And let's see. Oh, the shawl. That's what it was that I brought this. I have a little pink basket that I sit in my living room to hold my projects that I'm working on currently, and it's just filled with yarn. I'm sorry, you can probably hear my dogs, but it's just filled with yarn. And so I have my shawl project that I showed you in last week's episode. It is, I had started it on, I believe it was number 2, needles, Chiagu. And the yarn that I'm using is fingering weight. And the stitch pattern and everything that was going on, it was really dense and curling. And I was worried that it wasn't going to be what it needed to be, because the stitch pattern in this shawl is beautiful, but it requires a bigger needle in order to see it, in my opinion. And so we went to Walmart that night after I got done recording, and I had him pick me up some needles that is bigger, that is not the recommended needle, but it's closer to the recommended needle. I think the recommendation is either a 4 or a 5. Excuse me. And I believe these are 6s. And so it's better than a 2. I would rather go a little bit bigger than smaller, because I don't want the fabric to be dense. I want it to drape. And so I got different needles and took it all out and tried again. Because what I did was I switched it over to the bigger needles and worked up a few inches and looked at the difference between what I had started and what was going on then, and the difference was really big. And so I decided to take it all out, and this is what I have so far. Let me see about getting up closer. This looks so much better. That is the design that it's supposed to make. Can you see my boo-boos in the pattern? Closer over, right here. I messed up right in here of the beginning of the pattern and realized it afterwards, and I started to be like, you know, it doesn't matter, I'll just keep going. but I really wanted the design to look exactly like the pattern shows. I didn't want it to be, oh, I got a mess up here and a mess up here. I wanted to really concentrate on it and try to do it right. And so I fixed my stitch count. I fixed the problem here, and now everything is in order, in line, and that is what it's supposed to look like. That is the front side. This is the back side. So I'm really excited about this. I'm still on my first skein. This is how much I have left, so I figure I will have enough. I think I counted it up, and I think I have enough yarn to do the whole thing. And so I may or may not add that purple sparkly yarn. Where's it at? Right here. I'm still debating on if it would even look good, because they are really different, but yeah, I don't know. You can tell me in the comments what you think. I don't know. And I think that is it. I've worked on my sock a little bit, but it's one of those that goes in my purse, and I work on it whenever, whenever I am on the go. And so it's not got a whole lot on it done because I don't go very many places. But I started working on my craft corner, and I plan on putting up a curtain here and working on this more, but, yeah. Oh, no, I still have one more here. Let me finish my story. Started working on my craft corner, and started working on the shelves, and as you can see, we've got, I put yellows, taupes, browns here. I've got oranges and reds here. This one is always going to be mixed up because this is my fancy yarns, hand-dyed and luxury yarns. But I've got all of my blues here. There's blues and greens. We've got pinks and grays here. Down here is just a mixture of variegated yarns that didn't really have a designated color, you know. So, and then up here is my bare yarn that I dye. And so it's getting there. I organized it some, so now I can put more oranges and reds here. And so I'll be able to put more on the shelf. But, yeah. Okay, so I told you last week that I would bring in the other project that I forgot and show you what I've got started on it. I haven't worked on it anymore since I mentioned it. Because I've had other things that I've been working on. And this is going to be a slow going project because of the stitch that it is. I love the stitch. I love the fabric that I'm getting and the look of it. But it's one of those that's going to take a long time. But at the end of the day, it'll be worth it because the finished piece is going to be stunning. But I started a crocheted sweater. And that is what I have so far. I don't know, I don't have a front and back right now. But whenever you look, there is what it looks like. I don't have a whole lot done, but that is a start. The stitch that I'm working it with is split stitch. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called. It's where when you do a single crochet, instead of going underneath both loops, you go through the legs of the stitch and split it to where it looks like knit stitches. There we go. So it looks like a knitted garment, but it's crocheted. And I am loving the colors. I'm using a size I crochet hook. And the colors that I'm using is my own hand-dyed yarn. I dyed this yarn for me because I love purple and I wanted something to have in this. And I love the color of this. And I am alternating skeins. because I figured out I worked with one skein and was doing good, and then I found the other 2 skeins that I had and was going to cake them up and put them in the project bag so that it was all together, and I realized one skein was quite a bit lighter than the other 2, and so I'm like, I'm gonna have to alternate skeins so it goes in evenly, and so that's the color that I've got. And I call this my tie-dyed yarn because of the way it's dyed. You dye it purple and then close off certain bits of it and then over dye it black. And so that is here, but I kind of put it on the side burner because I'm working on my knitted sweater, and that is what is really getting to me right now. That's something that I'm really liking and enjoying. I didn't think that I would enjoy it as much as I am, but I am really enjoying this sweater and excited to see what it looks like when it's done, you know. So this is not a very long episode. How far am I in? 17 minutes. I think that's a record. I've been having 45-minute videos or 40-minute videos here lately, and I don't know how I do it. I just, as my husband would say, just talk. And I do, because I like to go into detail about what it is that I'm doing so you understand better, and if you want to do it yourself, then you would do it. You would be able to do it. But yeah, like I said, anything that I talk about, if there's a link, it will be in the show notes. I think that's it. I don't have a whole lot to show today because my sweater I'll be showing each week by itself. And yeah, I think that's it. I have 2 more sweaters that are queued up for after this one when it's done that I plan on making. All 3 of them are done by Jennifer Steingass, and I love them. They're so pretty. And so I am hoping to get to those before too long. So I've worked on my fall colors for my yarn. Give you kind of a sneak peek here. But yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. I guess today's going to be a short episode. Didn't have a lot. I've not been working on too much besides my sweater, but I've been focused on other things too. Early last month, I got asked to be a speaker in a women's conference for the church that we've been going to in McDougall. They pulled together a women's conference. It's going to be in November, and 5 other churches for sure are going to be there. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I know that they invited over 500, and that's just kind of like, because they expect me to speak. And not only do they expect me to speak, they expect me to be the last speaker. And as my husband likes to tell me, the last speaker is supposed to be the best. And so, yeah, no pressure. But, yeah. And ours is, each church has a different one. And ours, it's called, I say each, I didn't explain better. The conference is called REACH. Each letter stands for something. And ours is H, the last letter in REACH. And H stands for healing. And so I'm supposed to give a speech and talk about healing. And so, yeah. Each church has a different letter. And I can't remember what each letter means right now, but I know that ours stands for healing. And so, yeah. I've already got my speech written up. I'm excited, but at the same time, I am so nervous. So nervous. If you know me at all, I do not speak in front of crowds. I usually don't even talk to people unless they talk to me first, because I'm just not one to start up a conversation unless I have to. I'm not a people person. I'm very introverted. Not that I dislike being around people. I'm okay with being at home. And so, yeah. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be good. My husband read my speech and he said it was good. Now I've just got to practice it so that I'm not as nervous, maybe. I'm excited. But anyways, I will get off of here and let you go on about your day. I hope that you have a great weekend. I hope that you get to do something fun. Hopefully it's not raining where you're at. We're supposed to go to see his sister, I believe St. Louis. We're supposed to go up there and eat Italian and everything, and that's going to be exciting. Get out of the house. We've got 2 soccer games Saturday morning, so we're going to have a busy weekend. It's a good thing. I like getting out of the house. I just don't get out of the house very often. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Y'all have a good weekend. I hope you do something fun, and yeah, I will see y'all another day.